Assalamualaikum dear viewers, how are you? I hope you are doing all well. Welcome back to another exciting episode. In today's video, we are diving into the world of increment and decrement operators. These operators can often be confusing, especially with their prefix and postfix variations. But don't worry, because we'll break it down into step by step to clear up any confusion. So let's dive into the fascinating world of increment and decrement operator. Increment and decrement operator has two types. First one is that, so these are two types of the increment and decrement operator. First one is that prefix and second one is that postfix, right? So prefix means that when we write first increment operator and after the variable, right? So these are called prefix, increment and decrement, right? So when we write first the variable and after the increment and decrement operator, that are called postfix increment. First one is that variable, these are called postfix increment, right? Because we have written after the increment and decrement operator, that is called postfix increment and decrement operator, right? So what is the meaning of this one? A plus plus equal to the equal. So this is the short form of this line, right? This is the meaning of increment of one of this variable, right? For example, this value is 5, right? So this is the increment of one, this value is 6, right? So these both lines, postfix and prefix, these both lines means that this line increment of the one of the variable, right? And as like that, decrement operator, decrement also decrease the value of the one from the variable, right? So value of 5, then it will decrease the value equal to 4. These both lines mean that equal, right? Because if you write a first decrement operator or after the decrement operator, it will always change the value, decrease the value from the 1, right? And in this case always increase the value by 1, right? But where confusion comes, so because this is the always increment of the 1 until, because this is the always increment of the 1, whether you will write the first, whether you will write the after the increment operator, whether you will write the first the increment operator, it will always increase by the 1. And in this case you will write the after the decrement operator or first the decrement operator, it will always change the value and decrease the value by 1, right? So in this case it's always equal situation, right? But where confusion comes, confusion always comes in expression, right? So let's understand with the example, right? That line means that in the memory, two spaces are allocated, which name A, first variable A and second variable is B, and in its dash is that 1000 and its dash is that 1005. Its dash may be different because in the memory data stored in random location, right? So that's why its dash may be different, right? So now A variable will assign the value 5, right? And B value is nothing, right? So now we will assign the value of B equal to A plus plus, right? So now we have applied the increment operator on this variable, right? So now what will happen? In this case, first two are variable and second increment operator, right? First is the variable and after the increment operator, right? That is the postfix increment, right? Because we have right here after the increment and first the variable. In this expression and in this execution, what will happen, right? In this execution, first the value of this variable assigned to this variable, and after the increment, after the increase of the value, right? So first the value of B, A value assigned to this variable, right? And after the increases of the value, and value will be increased 6, right? So now if we print the value of b, so now if we print the value of b, 5 value will be printed on the screen, right? Because in the memory b value is 5 and in the memory a value is 6. If we print the value of a 6 value will be printed on the screen, right? And 5 b value is printed on the screen, right? So now we will apply the prefix increment operator. These are initialized value 5 and this is the nothing, right? So we will write first increment operator and after the variable, right? So in this case, first the value of a in the memory will be increased, right? And after that this updated and new value will be used in expression, right? In this expression new value will be used because we have written here first the increment operator and after the variable, right? And after the value will be assigned to this variable, right? First the increases of the value 6 and 6 value will be assigned to this variable, right? So in this case both value are 6. So if we print the value on the screen, 6 value will be printed on the screen and b values and a value is also 6 and 6 value will be printed on the screen, right? I hope you some getting pointed. So now we will apply the decrement operators, prefix and postfix, right? If I write here first decrement operator and after the variable, right? So this is the initialize of the value 5, right? And we will decrease the value by 1, right? So in this case, first the decrement operator and after the variable, right? First the decreases of the value 4 and then value will be assigned to this variable. 4 value will be assigned to b variable and 4 value will be printed on the screen, right? Because in this case we have first the decrement operator and after the variable, right? So in this case first the value will be updated and updated value will be used in this expression and updated value will be assigned to this variable, right? Because we have right here first decrement operator and after the variable. So now if we write here first the variable and after the decrement operator, right? So in this case first the value of a will be assigned to this variable and after the value will be updated, right? First the value of a will be assigned to this variable, a is 5 and 5 value will be assigned to this variable and after that value will be updated, that is 4. So now in this case in the memory b is 5. If we print the screen on the screen, 5 value printed on the screen and a is 4. If we print the a, then 4 value will be printed on the screen, right? To make it more clear, let's take an example of C program to understand it. So in the memory, 4 variable has been declared, right? First one is that a variable and second one is that b variable, third one is c and fourth d, right? First variable we will initialize the 6. This value will be assigned to this variable and these 3 variables are empty, right? So now we will apply the increment and decrement operator on this operand on this variable, right? First one we will assign the value of b by expression, by writing expression. So now we will see that it's an execution, right? How will work its execution, right? So in this case we are assigning the value b. First, in this case we are assigning the first value of b, assigning the value of variable b. So in this case we are assigning the value in the first statement of b, right? So what value will be assigned to this variable, right? So in this case first is the increment operator and after the variable, right? So in this case first the value will be increased and then value will be assigned to this variable and updated value will be used in this expression, right? So first increase the value, 6 will be 7, 6 becomes 7, right? And 7 value will be assigned to this variable b, right? So in this case, in the next case, First the variable and after the increment. First the value of a will be assigned to this variable c and after the increment. Right? What value say 7 and 7 value will be assigned to this variable and after the increment and 8 and increment value is 8, right? And in the next case, first assign the value d of variable a and after the decrementer, after that decrease by 1, right? So first 8 value will be assigned to this variable and after that this value will be decreased. That is 7, right? So now if we print this value on the screen, then A is 7 will be printed on the screen, B is 7, C is also 7, and D 8 will be printed on the screen, right? So now in this case, A values in the memory is 7. 7 value will be printed on the screen, and B is also 7, and C is also 7, and D is 8. 8 value will be printed on the screen. I hope you got it all about the increment and decrement operators, right? So increment operator and decrement operator are also used in arithmetic operators, right? In as like that. So as like that, it is also used in a relational operator, in a arithmetic operator. Arithmetic operator are negative, plus, asterisk, and division, right? So these are arithmetic operators, right? So in this case, variation execution, right? So in this case, higher precedency is that increment and decrement operator, and after the relational operators, right? In the next video, I'll describe all about the higher precedency and lower precedency, right? So I hope you got it all about the increment and decrement operators in the C language. So keep doing coding and practice. If you have any confusion, so leave comment in the comment section. So till then, a lot of care of you. I'll see you in the next video.